WebSockets vs REST API for real-time data. Which to use? So choosing between WebSockets and REST API for real-time data depends on the specific requirements and constraints of your application. Let's talk about a detailed comparison to help you decide which one is more suitable for your needs. Let's start first with the WebSockets. Let's delete everything here. So, WebSocket is a protocol that provides a full duplex communication channels over a single long-lived connection. It is designed for applications that require real-time communication. So, let's talk about the key characteristics. The first thing will be the full duplex communication. So, allows for simultaneous two-way communication between the client and server, making it ideal for real-time updates. Number two, persistent connection. So one established, the connection remains open, allowing for continuous data exchange without the overhead of opening and closing connections. And number three, low latency. Since the connection is persistent, data can be sent and received with minimal delay, which is critical for real time applications. Let's talk about the use cases of the WebSockets. The first one, it will be the chat applications. No, real time messaging where immediate communication is required. We use the chat application. Also, we use it for live sports updates. It's instant updates and on score players statistics and game events. Also financial tech data, so real stock prices and market data. Lastly, we use it on collaborative editing, so applications like Google Docs where multiple users need to see changes in real time. Let's talk about advantages of the WebSockets. First, we have real time interaction. So it's ideal for applications that require instant communication. Number two, reduced latency. Persistent connections reduce the time required to establish new connections. Number three, efficient data transfer. So continuous connection allows for the efficient transfer of small messages without the overhead of HTTP headers. Let's talk about the disadvantages of WebSockets. The first thing, it will be the complexity because it's quite complex. Managing and maintaining WebSocket connections can be more complex compared to a stateless HTTP connection like REST. Scalability requires careful consideration for scaling as each client maintain an open connection to the server. Three, we have resource intensive. So long-lived connections can consume more server resources compared to stateless HTTP requests. Let's talk about the REST API. REST API is a short for representational state transfer, is an architectural style that uses standard HTTP methods like get, post, put, delete for communication. It is stateless, meaning each request from the client to the server must contain all information needed to understand and propose the request. Let's talk about key characteristics about REST API. Each request, first we have stateless, so each request is independent and contained all the information needed for the server to fulfill it. Number two, Scalability. So statelessness makes it easier to scale horizontally by adding more servers. Number three, cacheable. So responses can be cached to improve performance. Let's talk about the use cases. We have CRUD operations, so typical create, read, update, and delete operations on resources. We have service integration, so communication between microservices or third-party APIs. We have periodic updates, so applications that can tolerate some delay, like social media feeds or news updates. Um, we have the advantages of the REST API. First, it's a quite simple. So it's easier to implement and use, especially for standard CRUD operation. Second, scalability. Statelessness simplifies horizontal scaling. Third, interoperability. So uses standard HTTP methods, making it widely compatible and easy to integrate with various clients and services. Let's talk about the disadvantages for real-time data. The first thing will be the latency. Each request response cycle introduces latency, making it less suitable for real-time applications. Number two, overhead. Each HTTP request includes headers, which can add unnecessary overhead for small, frequent updates. Number three, polling. So, for real time data, clients may need to pull the server frequently, which can be inefficient and lead to higher latency. So, let's talk about when to use WebSockets. We use WebSocket for real time communication. So when you need a low latency and bi-directional communication, we use WebSocket for interactive applications, so chat apps, online gaming, live updates, sports, financial data, etc., and any collaborative tools. We use WebSockets in continuous data streams, so applications that require a steady stream of data from the server to the client. Let's talk about when to use API. So we use API in stateless interactions. So when each request is independent and you don't need a persistent connection, we use it also in resource management, standard CRUD operations on resources. We use it as well in service integration when integration with other services or APIs that follows REST principles. We use it for caching when responses can be cached to improve performance. So, in conclusion, WebSockets are best choice for applications that require real-time, low latency, bi-directional communication. They are ideal for interactive applications where data needs to be pushed to clients instantly. On the other hand, REST APIs are better suited for standard web applications where with stateless interactions where real-time updates are not critical. They are simpler to implement and scale and are ideal for typical CRUD operations and serving integrations. So consider the specific needs of your application, including the type of data, the required interactions pattern, and performance requirements to make the best choice between WebSockets and REST APIs. So that's it for this video, and see you in the future.